How you doing, guys? So today is officially the last vlog of the semester. So I'm gonna start by talking about the final presentation, and the good things during my final presentation. I felt one of them was my pace, so I wasn't speaking too fast. I had pauses between my sentences. I was fluent in everything I said. I wasn't rambling. I wasn't being chopped up in my speaking. It was just a good pace and a fluent speaking tone. Secondly, I felt I was very prepared. So a lot of the stories I told, I felt that I knew a lot about them, and it was one of those things where I didn't have to look down on my note cards. I didn't have to look at the TV screen. I just knew it, and I was just conversational about the entire speech. And lastly, I felt my eye contact and hand gestures were very strong. And like I said, I didn't have to look at any of the notes that I brought with me. It was more of just staring out, and it was more of just I was conversational with like everything in front of me. So the bad things were, I felt that my conclusion wasn't as strong as it could have been. So my conclusion really was about journalists becoming more of celebrities, and I wish I gave another account of that. Maybe I had a nice quote, but I felt that it would have been better now. Like looking back now, I felt that it could have been better if I gave another person who was doing the exact same thing as Brian Williams. Secondly, a Q&A. I felt that during my Q&A, I actually rambled on, and it didn't look good because I was speaking with someone, and the question that he asked me was so brief. I could have given him a brief answer, but I decided to just ramble on about the topic, and it didn't. I felt that that was just a mistake of my part. I should have just known that it was an answer that I could have just given in a few sentences instead of like a 2-minute conversation. And lastly, like as I talked about earlier, I felt that it was good that I was prepared, but I think I knew like a little bit too much. So during my stories, I felt that I could have just stuck to the key components instead of telling a long, detailed story. Like I knew a lot about the story, so next time I'm gonna only know the key components instead of dragging on this long story. But I did feel the stories were important, and I was well prepared for them. But looking back now, I wish I just singled in on the key components to them. So the improvements throughout the year, I definitely felt through the beginning of the year my pace was too fast, and at the end of the year I slowed it down and I was more fluent, like I was talking about earlier. Secondly, I wasn't mixing up as many words, so during my ghostwritten speech, I would either mix up words or I would use ums and ahs and stuff like that. Where now I just stick to what I'm gonna say and make it as conversational as possible. And lastly, I think my preparations have become or gotten a lot better. So for the last speech, I studied more. It wasn't more of me like writing everything down. I actually knew it like really well, and which helps a lot when you give speeches clearly. So basically, what I want to take from this class, it was one of the classes during my first semester of my freshman year. So it was one of those things where I'm going to learn a lot from being in a college classroom at this point, and one of those being the partner skills, preparation skills, and most importantly, I think it's just a matter of knowing what you got to do and just doing it. And I think that this class has helped me, just transition to being a freshman. And I'm definitely gonna miss this class. Like, we had a great time this year, and I hope we can all cross paths again in the future. I'd like to thank you, Miss O'Malley, for the wonderful job you did, and I hope everyone else feels the same way about this class that I do. And it was really a good learning experience, and they'll definitely remember it for their 4 years. And thank you.